Greetings, vloggers, bloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with another edition of this week's vlog. I want to welcome you all. It's been a strenuous week, but a good mental health week for me. Got to do some self-discovery, got to do some learning, but we're here, and that's the main thing. So we're looking into the week before Thanksgiving. You see my background is of our local library. It is on the National Register of Historic Places. I will include information about it on this description of this video. But without further ado, let's get into today's first half of the vlog, and let's talk about being too nice. So, being, of an autistic mind, it can be hard sometimes to accept that we're easily taken advantage of, or easily naive. We fall into traps. Um, that presents an inability for us to be allowed to be taken advantage of, or we play along because we're in fear. And even we play along even with stuff that seems too good to be true. It promises of dreams that will take us to places we'll never be of, scams on the phone, so on and so forth. It basically stems from a difference of communication, and it's if it's not seen, if you can't see it sometimes, and that's not always true either, but many times if you cannot see it, it will present itself in the way that you need to see it. So it could be presented in the way of body language, or lack of body language, that you can't read, or verbiage, slang, jargon, or the method that it is exchanged, like via text message or online. We are, as autistics, are susceptible to many scams, or things that sound too good to be true. Um, Many times autistic people don't realize that they have the right to say no. And I struggle with that sometimes. I did for many years. I struggled with the ability to say no, and you can just walk away from things. And it's something that they don't have. It's hard for autistics to understand that they don't have to do everything that they're asked to do. They don't have to conform to every single thing that they are told to do, because many times we're brought up through childhood as do this, do that, and somewhat to a degree, ABA has played a part in that. Especially for people around my age, or in the 20s or 30s, they were taught, that it was not the right way, and you know, we were, and it's not that we're any better or any different, or we're spoiled, but it's just we don't have that ability to just we were sometimes brought up with the ability to not be able to step away from things that were bothersome or sensory overloaded. um you know Sometimes autistics have trouble standing their ground and saying no to something, because they don't want to cause to be burnout, or and if from not doing that, not standing your ground and saying no, it can cause you to have burnout, and it can cause it can affect your behavior and your sensory overload, where your senses can get overloaded. um Autistics oftentimes have the difficulty knowing they're being played. So, sometimes they don't realize it's just falling into that trap, being played, trying to get, to see that they are part of a plan or a scheme that might be fraudulent, a scam, something is too good to be true by neurotypicals. And, autistics are often programmed to be complacent because of their fear of retaliation, criticism. I fear criticism, so I know what that's like. I want to do everything just as it says and how I do it, and it's very crippling to me in a way, because I can't live the life I want because I fear of being criticized. But that's a whole different topic, and we can go forever on that topic. It's just something that I struggle with. Um, you know, we're afraid it's going to cause a problem, or we don't want to say no, or we don't want to. We're programmed to be complacent because of fear, and we're afraid to say no because it'll change things up. It'll make a problem. Um, Communication can many times be appropriate times can be appropriate, that really doesn't result in neurotypicals being predatory or unethical. It many times results in what is confusion, where people don't understand what we're coming across as or what they're coming across as. And that can be a difficulty and a slippery slope as well. It can oftentimes communicate differently than neurotypical peers. And we can't read between the lines. It's a difficulty that we have. It's hard for me to read between the lines sometimes to see what people really want out of it or what they really want. And it can result in predatory behavior occurring without without an autistic person's knowledge. Many times they don't see it occurring until it's too late, and the damage has been done. It's easier for them to be taken advantage of because they don't know if the promises that are being made are legitimate, and sometimes they don't do their research or see what they're being promised is valid. Autistics are often empathetic and feel threatened when they cannot see the person they are communicating, such as a cold call. They can let their guard down, and they can be taken advantage of in a financial manner because they have difficulty understanding that there are things and people out there that are too good to be true, and that is true. You have to have that Teflon skin, and it has to flow right off of you. When something tells you something, or they make you, and there's plenty of scams out there. There's do not call registry to get your name avoided off of those lists. You may have to register those, I believe, every 5 years. But it's good, to know that you don't have to answer. And with the cell phones, especially these days, not, showing when there's potential spam or an issue, and not, you have to put up your defense mechanism, and you have to fight for what, is, to protect your safety and to protect uh, being aware of when people are taking advantage of you. You don't want to be taken advantage of, because it can lead to a slippery slope. It can make your life, up in an upheaval until, and sometimes you don't recognize it until it's too late. And that's where the problem falls. And then you have to patch the damage, basically. It's just not fun. It's just not fun. We don't want to hurt. As autistics. We don't want to hurt people, and we don't want to be rude to them with the aftermath of what we had, what the damage is made to us or them, and we shy away from others if we don't, we don't want if they don't treat us in a way that they should. Specifically in friendships and relationships, autistic people can be manipulated and taken advantage of by their friends or partners. It can be emotional abuse, but it can also include many other types of abuse and violence. So, just be aware of those things. And many times autistic people come from a background of a lot of trauma, including I have trauma myself. So it's undiagnosed, but I know I have it, and I know it's a part of my life, and I know I have to watch my boundaries with that and what I do with that, because some things to this day don't make me feel comfortable. Anyone that's involved with law enforcement or wants to, they fear, they can convince autistic people to commit crimes for their approval or leadership or friendship. And if they're caught, and if that neurotypical or other peer is caught or persuaded that they did, sometimes autism and justice doesn't always prevail. We're not always seen as the poor kids. Sometimes we're convinced, and sometimes, we're told that we're the ones that we're falsely accused of things. Or we're just not properly, the fingers pointed at us many times, and many times we just want them to get the answer they want, so we'll give in to them, and we're persuaded sometimes to not show our innocence when we know deep down we are innocent, but we're gonna get this over with if we just tell them that it's us, and we want to say that we honestly did things without understanding the repercussions that it causes us as autistic people, as people who may have been framed or set up to do that without knowing the ramifications of that. Even if we are innocent, we sometimes, we can be falsely accused of things. So we always have to watch our back in that regard. Schools or other, in school settings and, in other settings, um, you know, it's often. I was bullied in school. I think if you asked 100 autistics out there that were speaking and not protected, I would say probably 90 of them were, 90 or 95, I'd say. You know, it was a very rough time for me in school, and I don't like to always talk about it, but that they want you to fit in. They want you, if you want to fit in, you got to do. It often uses bullies use the promise of approval or friendship to convince autistics to commit an embarrassing act or something that causes a scene or makes them feel less than what they are. And even with social media, even with all the other things I mentioned in this video, being taken advantage of, being manipulated, or being, just to be the friend. It's we want friends, but sometimes we don't have the right friends, and we don't have the friends that have our best interests at heart, or don't see, or we can't see eye to eye, or they're too much for us, or we're too much for them, or we have issues. Everybody has issues, and sometimes not everybody can be your friend, and there's people that are need more skills, and are less are more skill needed, and I say everybody's their friend, but really not everybody's their friend, because until you really get to know them, or allow them into your life, if you feel comfortable, you have to have that trust. And we'll get into that in the Forging Friendship series, eventually, and we may have at some point. But it's just you have to have them respects and them boundaries to understand that. It's about that trust. So, some suggestions, and compare notes with your autistic friends and peers. We learn from each other, and situations and exploitation can occur, and support. And you need to support each other and stand up for them and avoid getting involved. Constantly remind yourself that you do not have to do things because others tell you to. If something feels wrong, you know what? It probably is, and you probably shouldn't do it. Do some training and practice around assertiveness. I've been doing it, and it's sometimes it's not about being rough or putting your guard down, or anything. You have to be assertive, but you can't be too tactful. You can't be can't be too aggressive. You can't be too angry. You have to take it in stride, as I always say, and it's a struggle. Um, it could take a while, but it's a great skill in being taken advantage of in other areas and getting what you need. Um, build your self-worth, self-esteem. Uh, it goes towards equipping you with the skills and confidence to avoid being taken advantage of. It's probably why I haven't been taken advantage of as much as I have been over the years, because I've been learning the skills, and there's many training sites you can go on to. I know here in the great state of Pennsylvania, we have HICUs, and they have great trainings for people who are kind of on the DD side of things. And there's many other places you can go and learn training, but the HICUs are really great to help me recognize things that on my level that I can read through the language better, and I can better understand. Um, it's just you got to work with those strategies. Reflect on where your exploitation has happened, or people. Think about what you've helped in the past, what has helped in the past situation. You should keep a record of everything as if a similar situation rises, and use a strategy that you identified. If it doesn't happen, work through these issues, but don't beat yourself up. You you are not the person in the wrong, and it is not your fault. As with all setbacks, try to learn from what you can from it and get support you need to move forward. Just finally, remember that this behavior is no way your fault. As an autistic person, it is not your fault. Uh, you know, it's in the result of a person or a group being intentionally trying to take advantage of you or just trying to seek you for, you know, to take advantage of you and use you. So don't let it get to you. And it's for their own gain or for their own well-being, but you're stronger than this and you can get through it and you're going to do great. And I hope someday, I hope doing these videos and writing my blogs and just being out there on social media. And I know I've been a little lacking this week, but just hopefully getting my stories and my knowledge, my vast story over 2.5 decades of knowledge out there about being autistic since I had my diagnosis at 13, that I hope sometime something, somebody learns something from it and and can use something from it. So I really hope that. I hope this video was good to you. If it was, please give a thumbs up. If you think it was too wordy or had an issue, please give it a thumbs down. Be sure to tap my notification bell if you want to hear more videos. If you want to comment on a different topic, put that in the comments. I do read the comments, so that would be really appreciated. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Just hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dustin's Dynasty. I'm on the web at DustinsDynastyUSA.com. I'm also on TikTok and Pinterest at Dustin's Dynasty ASD. This vlog and all my blogs from every day that I write personally are streamed to many platforms, including Spotify, and they are found on most streaming platforms, including Spotify, at Dustin's Dynasty ASD. So I want to thank you again for listening, and be sure to have a good week. And we'll be stick tuned for if you're or just listening to the first half, and we'll have the other half with the Forging Friendships vlog for the week. Thank you.